This covers, in 1.10, the software option of running replicate analysis for human clinical and human research applications. You have the option now, under Analysis, under General, to activate the use of replicate analysis, to do two separate independent runs and compare the results by WHO acceptable variation. You do so by selecting the Enable option. It does require a minimum of 6 fields per each replicate analysis. You can, of course, have more. If you wish to continue analyzing in your standard way prior to version 1.10, you simply disable the replicate analysis and it proceeds with a singular analysis evaluation for CASA kinematics for your WHO standards. But let's activate this and perform a run. We do so by our standard setup, and we can open that analysis and run the replicates. Here we're analyzing this patient. The first analysis is coming in. When we've completed that and we had asked to start the replicate analysis, you'll see the first analysis set lock with the lock icon. The second analysis completes an unlock. Your end results here show the comparison of aliquot 1 by percent WHO5 progressive, comparing to the percent in aliquot 2 of WHO5 progressive. These comparisons are checked, the mean evaluated, and assured that the delta or difference from the confidence interval meets the requirement of the 95% confidence interval seen here as reported in the World Health Organization. Lock the comparison population as the most common population for criteria of WHO5 would be the progressive population to assure passing the criteria. So you can set that to lock for the comparisons. However, if you are interested in unlocking that and checking other population comparisons, you can see how the aliquots compare to one another in the next category population, even all the way down to in modal, to compare the aliquot populations. This data on replicate analysis for WHO5 is also available in the report. So if you wish to print a report out, and you can see the replicate data populate over here. So for the replicate analysis here, you can see the replicate analysis for aliquot 1, aliquot 2, and that you've passed the replicate data set. It also presents your average percent for the replicate analysis. That completes the ability to do the replicate analysis mode for WHO 5. This is in version 1.10. In version 1.10, the new software option feature of human internal quality control. This is for the human applications. In this feature, there's 2 things that we can use that are required for internal quality control. The first is to verify the objective magnification that is actively listed before you begin your analysis. When you press verify, it wants to confirm by taking the existing magnification you have from your menu selected objective in your setup and comparing it to the live active calibration slide that you've loaded in the system. By doing so, you can say and confirm, yes, this objective is truly calibrated to the proper magnification. When you confirm that, a picture has been recorded for your verification actions. This picture will show the date and timestamp of your actions, the objective name that you verified, and the correct calibrations that you verified too. So your manager can see the confirmation of your verification of magnification. Version 1.10, this is the feature under Human Internal Quality Control, or IQC, for testing our quality control materials. So in this interface, you can load your latex bead sample. You want to add it to the material ID. In this case, we're doing the 35. And now when you go to do your bead analysis here, you need to confirm the date of manufacture by the materials provided. You want to specify the tolerance range of the material product you're testing, and then you can begin your analysis. So in this case, we could do several fields. Do the analysis of the materials. You can review the analysis of said materials, review the capture of all of those beads. If you did an analysis where there was an air bubble, you would be allowed to remove that from the statistics. All right, and here you can see the analysis. So do a manual addition if you'd like. Okay, and when you're ready to save your data set, this will be just outside of the range. You can press save and clear. This message is reminding me that I'm exceeding my tolerance level. I have a material of 35 million per ml, and in this case it's just outside the 5 million per ml tolerance interval. So it's asking you if you actually want to save your data. This is an onboard safety mechanism for people to check their applications and how they're loading their materials. Once the data has been saved, you can look in the quality control report at any time. And we now have the Levy-Jennings plot, which will map and plot your data set. Our last data set here helping us reflect that we're coming outside of the calculated mean. The first green lines show this 1 standard deviation from the calculated mean. The yellow lines show 2 standard deviations from the calculated mean. And the red lines show 3 standard deviations from the calculated mean. By showing this plot, we intentionally showed sitting outside of 2 standard deviations for you to see the graphing. By this case, we did to show you that of one of our WestGuard statistical rules, we have failed by falling 1 point outside of the 2 standard deviation range. So your onboard measurements of whether you're passing or failing the criteria are available for any one of your reports. If you wanted to print this report or have a quality manager print a monthly report, quarterly report, or annual report, you can select the date range here, week to date, month to date, and so on. You can view the report here. And in the quality report, you can customize this with your company logos, your internal lab labeling, anything that you like. You can include your Levy-Jennings plot for your quality control criteria. Again, this showing 1 point failing outside of your data point. And again, as a reminder, all of these WestGuard rules are standardized WestGuard rules for statistical analysis. So if you wish to review these rules, you can also go to this website here for the rules regarding WestGuard analysis on your Levy-Jennings plot. So we now offer the ability to take the dimensions morphology analysis of a patient performed in the afternoon and combine that data set with the motility that was performed in the morning. So under the report feature of your motility, you can combine your motility analysis performed with your morphology analysis. And now you have one singular combined report that pulls the morphology data from the database as well as the motility data from the database. So now in software version 1.10, we are now actively providing under results, under kinematics, we have been reporting the subpopulations of progressive and slow breakdowns in kinematics for cumulative results. We now are making those available in your ASCII query of the database. So you would be able to go and query those, whereas before you did not have them available. So you can go and find your progressive subpopulations here, or the slow is now available as well in the database, and it was not before. So those values for slow are also available. So in version 1.10, we have added to the analysis setup options here under setups an added parameter called cell travel max. This is the display of this value. It has always been a number underneath the code. So I emphasize it should remain standardized at 10. This number should not be adjusted. You should keep it at 10. It will standardize your analysis. This is only adjusted in extreme cases of extreme motility to keep the tracks connected. It is a rare animal event. It is not applicable to being adjusted in human clinical applications, and you should leave that standardized. Otherwise, when you increase that for extreme motilities, it will keep the tracks connected and proper analysis performed. Typically, just upping it to 15 is a nice starting point to connect those. Bovine, in this case. Okay. So now you can see, running the same video set, you'll see the same 8 fields of analysis appear, running to the version 1.10.1 analysis for WHO non-progressive. This time with version 1.10, we are using the same definition as legacy CASA, which uses the VSL, or straight line velocity. By using the VSL criteria, or the straight line velocity from the first photograph to the last, we now see in our WHO5 non-progressive category 49 sperm cells in the same identical 8 fields of analysis now being categorized as WHO5 non-progressive. Again, the difference is using a straight line velocity parameter from first photograph to last, 5 microns or less. So this is in comparison to the legacy Hamilton Thorne CASA equipment, IVOS, and CIRRUS. Same fields of view, same data set, same identical analysis setup being used. So in version 1.10, for the animal applications, we have a new option for minimum morphology requirements under settings. Within the setup, you now have the added feature to specify under your morphology requirements the morphology normal minimum percent. By activating that and selecting a percent required, this means when you perform an analysis, if your morphology falls less than that minimum percent normal form, you will have a fail indicator. Okay. In version 1.10 software, we now offer the ability to recall data that has been entered in the data fields and the notepad fields. So now when you recall an analysis, if you wish to recall the analysis with the data fields, you're asking to import the analysis info. If you do so, when you now reanalyze and recall that information, those data fields will populate with the video data. Under version 1.10 software, we now display the kinematic measures even when there are 0 populations and there's no movement. Those will display. So those are now displaying there. And those are available in the data output. Okay, in version 1.10, we have now under hardware expanded our chamber positions option for automation. You can now go past 4 chambers all the way to a limit of 26 chamber positions can be added for the automated field position. When I activate that, you will see E added to the listing. You can also combine these with your auto advance chamber and your auto unload stage that you've had in the past softwares. When this applies and I exit out, you'll notice the E position has been added to your automated stage movements. In version 1.10, in the animal breeding applications, under processing, we offer a useful sperm percentage. This is the product of your morphological normal forms with either your modal population or your progressive population, whichever is being selected for the adjustments. So the product of the modal populations and the morphologically normal will show your percent of useful sperm.